Hello, my name's Dopey. Earlier today I was growling some videos, and as you were getting to know the dope smoking clown, I was talking that I'm into politics and conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but there's also another side of me. This is my best friend Shredder, and we're kind of doing a death metal band, and this is a one-on-one with us. And pretty much this session that we're going to talk about is spirituality. And whenever I first met this guy, I was telling him a whole bunch of stuff that God was a computer and that he made UFOs.
I was an atheist.
Yeah, this dude was an atheist. And I lost my mind in 2008. I was a devil worshiper. I actually worshiped Satan, the devil. He was my god. And then I got paranoid because I became a conspiracy theorist and found out what the government was. And then I found out that the devil is pretty much in control of all that shit. And
this, a lot of this you can decide for yourself. It's in historical books that you can go check out at your library. You can check them out. You can decide whether they're myth or fact for yourself.
Pretty much. This guy is my walking book of confirmation. Like every time God told me something, I wrote it down in a journal, and I let him borrow my journal and let him read it. And then he actually had some invitations a long time, or visitations from the Lord himself when he was a little child. He had an angel actually walk around with him, or a spirit, or I want to say deity, but that's not the word because a deity is a god.
It was like a
guardian
angel.
Yeah. And it protected him when he was a kid. And he was very spiritual at one point too. So was I, kind of, when I was a kid from a southern family. But anyways, we want to get into the scientific and logical aspects on what God is and what God is capable of in his technology, and a certain consciousness that you are not aware of. The consciousness that you are not aware of is because there's a world that has been built for you to not be aware of this consciousness, is to be a slave to the system, which is television, computers, the mainstream media. Because back in before existence, we didn't have none of that, so we were all opened up to the same consciousness, which was Earth had its own consciousness, that God was God and he was involved with humanity. But as I said that God was a computer, and that he made that what we are is holograms.
Yeah,
that
and another thing I want to add in there, a lot of the Bible, what people don't realize is actually, and I give reference to Jordan Maxwell, I'm not trying to rip him off or anything, but a lot of the Bible is actually talking about alien extraterrestrial life forms coming to Earth. And this is found throughout historical documents. It's written on Egyptian Egyptian tombs, on their pyramids, and different things like this. And ancient stories, even in the Bible, it speaks that aliens came down here. And it's very strange. It talks. The ancients called them gods, but we call them aliens nowadays.
Right. And also a thing, just to Jordan Maxwell, he's a pimp and a renegade. Before I even became a conspiracy theorist or learned, I just called Jordan Maxwell the other day on the phone and told him how much of a big fan I was. And this guy's a good guy, and we are not ripping off his material. If anything, we will give credit to Jordan Maxwell. We have learned a lot from him. We've learned a lot from Alex Jones, from other things. And we also looked at spiritual certain points of views about UFOs and aliens. In the Bible, it talks about chariots of fire, and this is another thing that Jordan Maxwell says, that about the Bible, that you need to understand certain words and understandings of the time that it was meant. It was a chariot was used to be meant as a vehicle, not as a literal chariot.
Yeah, chariot. Yeah, it's an ancient word for vehicle. When they were speaking. When they were speaking about the horse chariot, they said horse chariot. It's just an ancient word for vehicle. And they said that it was a chariot of fire or a chariot of light that came and ascended down and abducted or took Elijah and took him to the heavens.
And not only that, a lot of the Bible, they don't want us to know it's edited. I'm not going.
What it is underlying symbolism inside certain stories.
Right.
And if you look up Jordan Maxwell, he'll talk to you. He'll explain that better.
But I want to get to the part to where actually scientists are now saying that what I did say a long time ago, that's in my journal in 2008, that this guy has read books, and that they're actually coming out and saying that there is a chance that we are living in a computer simulation.
Scientific theories. You look up the binary hypothesis, the scientific universal binary hypothesis, or there's the scientists are coming to conclusions. I just watched this on it was the Science Channel, I think, with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
Who plays God and
Yeah.
And Evan
And he was talking about that. What they were talking about is that this reality may in fact be holograms, and everything is made out of just pixels. But these pixels we know are atoms and particles and things like this. But from a distance they make the picture, but when you zoom in closer, they're just color pigments, pixels.
Tell them about the zero energy.
0 point energy.
Not 0 point energy, but dark energy. That's
dark energy.
Dark energy.
They've also looked. If you check this out too, dark energy is an undetectable form of energy that scientists have. I believe scientists have believed in it for centuries and centuries, and it actually ties back to a spiritual belief of ether, which I think it goes back to Rome. The Romans called it ether, which was, and they called it the breath that the gods breathed, the air that the gods breathed. And Albert Einstein talked about ether, and it's now, I believe, it's called dark energy today. And it's an undetectable form of energy that governs all energy, and our energy, the world that we see is only around 20%, and then dark energy is actually about 80%. That actually makes up the universe, and it governs the universe and everything, and it's undetectable. We can't see it, taste it, or hear it, smell it, or any none of our senses can pick it up, but yet it controls everything.
But tell them how also the universe is expanding and continually expanding, like they're saying that.
Yes, there's scientific evidence that the universe is expanding. I have a belief that maybe the Big Bang wasn't actually a bang. I don't know, but I kind of my belief is that it could be, in fact, that when everything was condensed together, that everything just began to expand itself outward instead of an explosion. That's kind of.
It's a hard subject. All right. Well, the thing that I was saying is the vision that God gave me. I got like maybe a minute and a half just to make sure this goes on. God, a long time ago, because I found out what the devil was, and I'm going to say it, the devil is the government, and or controlling it, or is it? Because in the Bible it says so many things that points to where that the rulers of the earth and the kings, or the kings and rulers of the earth, stand against the Lord and against Jesus and His anointed one.
Well, and if you're referencing the Bible as well, it said that God hurled the devil and a third of his angels to earth.
Third of his stars. It says in Revelations,
right.
a third of his stars to the earth, which in my translation, I believe, are UFOs. Satan, because if God hurled Satan and his stars to earth, then they were cast out of outer space. So outer space is heaven. And God hurled Satan and his UFOs out of outer space to earth, and he's here on earth deceiving mankind, which people need to know. He is controlling. The only way that and it says that he leads the whole world astray. I only got 30 seconds left, and I'm making sure this gets on there. There'll be a part 2.
I also want to comment.
There'll be a part 2. Hold on, let me finish this. Anyways, that Satan will lead the whole world astray. The only way to lead the whole world astray is through whoever makes the rules. And you gotta think who the kings and rulers of the earth are. There's nobody higher. It's the highest form on earth. And who are the kings and rulers of the earth, which is the government. And that's all I have to say. There'll be a part 2. Thanks for joining us, and watch part 2.